Hi, I'm Chef Katherine in the Growing Chefs Ontario Classroom Kitchen, and I'm going to teach you how to make candied citrus, which is a beautiful garnish for a dessert or even just a tasty snack. What I love most about this recipe is that it makes use of the citrus peel, which is full of flavor and super delicious. Before you get started, make sure you read through the recipe completely and wash your hands. To start, make sure that you've washed all of your citrus fruit in hot water. This will help to get rid of any residue and any wax that might be on the fruit. What we're going to do is we're going to peel the fruit with a very sharp peeler. Be careful so you don't cut yourself. And what you also want to watch for is that you are only peeling the outside layer. Try not to get too much of the white part. So I've done this very well, but if I dig deeper, you can see a little bit more of the white part here. I'll show you on a lemon too. You just don't want to dig too deep because this white part is more bitter. So if you do get a little bit of the white part, you can just kind of use your knife to carefully, if you lay it flat here, just remove it like this. But this peeler is working very well. So to start with, I'm going to peel all of my citrus fruit. You can use any combination of citrus fruit to make your candied citrus. I chose lemons and limes and oranges because I wanted to have nice bright colors together. But if you want to have just a single flavor, then you can do all lemons. Even fruits like grapefruits and pomelos work very well for making candied citrus. I've peeled all the citrus, so now I'm going to julienne all of the peels. So a julienne is a really nice fine strip. So I'm just with my chef's knife going down and I'm making these strips just a couple of millimeters wide. So I need to do this with the whole bowl of citrus. So I finished julienning all of the citrus here. This makes quite a big recipe. If you want to, you can certainly just cut this recipe in half to make a little bit less candy because it does take a while to julienne all the citrus. I set up a pot here of boiling water and we're going to blanch the citrus peels. Blanching is the process of cooking something very quickly in gently boiling water. Generally what we do after we blanch something is we dunk it into cold ice water to stop the cooking process, but we're actually going to blanch this citrus about 2 to 3 times. And what this will do is it'll help get rid of some of the bitter flavors that are in the citrus peels. So it's boiling gently. I'm just going to put all of the citrus here into the pot. You can see right away the water changes color. So I'm going to leave this for about 30 seconds and then I'm just going to strain it into this bowl here. I'll discard the water and we'll start this process again. So there we go. That's good enough. I'll turn off my heat and just being careful because it's hot boiling water. I'll dump it all in here and all the citrus is caught in the fine strainer. So I'm just going to now take this citrus and put it aside for the moment and I'll just dump this hot water and get this going again. All right, second time blanching the citrus. I noticed that the peels here are a little bit less bright in color and they're a little bit more malleable. So again, into my hot boiling water, I'll just dump all the citrus in. So after about 30 seconds, turn off my heat and then I will drain it into the bowl here. When the citrus peels are cool enough to handle, take a piece and just try a little bite. You want to make sure that it doesn't taste bitter. That tastes great. I just taste lime. It doesn't taste bitter at all. So now we can start the next step, which is the candying process. I'm going to make a simple syrup. A simple syrup is an equal part solution of water and sugar. So I have 2 cups of water and I'll add in 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to bring this to a gentle boil on medium heat. If you want to, you can give this just a little bit of a stir to get it going, but once the mixture is boiling slowly, then you're going to turn your heat down to low. So the simple syrup is boiling away. I'm going to turn down my heat so that it's just barely bubbling. You can see the difference there. I just want a couple little bubbles here and there. And I'm going to add all of my citrus peels into here. So the next part of the recipe is a little bit of waiting. We want the citrus peels to cook in the sugar syrup for about 30 to 50 minutes. As the sugar syrup cooks, it will reduce. At the end, this syrup will be very thick and there will be almost none left of it. You want to be careful not to reduce it too quickly. This is going to help candy the citrus peels. So just keep an eye on it. You don't need to stir it, but just make sure that it's not reducing too quickly and that it's just boiling very gently. Our citrus peels are ready here. If you look at them, they look almost translucent and you can see that most of that syrup has reduced. There's just a small amount left in the bottom of the pot. This is perfect. So once you have those see-through peels, then be careful because it's very hot sugar. We're going to strain it one more time. And don't throw away the solution here, the sugar syrup, because it's filled with all sorts of beautiful, delicious citrus flavors. You can add a little bit more water if you want to thin it out, and this makes a great citrus flavored syrup that you can add to drinks. So I'm gonna let this cool just a touch so that it's not too hot to handle, and making sure that I'm getting as much syrup as possible out of here. And I've set myself up with a bowl of sugar. There's just about 1 cup of sugar in this bowl. And I'm gonna dump all of the citrus peels into here. If you have a lot of citrus peels, you might wanna do this in batches so that you don't have too much in your bowl at one time. So what I'm gonna do is just careful if it feels a little bit warm, you're gonna just start to toss the citrus peels in this sugar. And immediately you can see that they're candied. You want to do this while they're warm so that it doesn't stick together too much. I've set myself up with a wire rack over top of a baking tray, and the wire rack is just going to hold the citrus peels and the baking tray will catch any sugar as it falls. So I want to just kind of sprinkle it all over the tray. If you get extra sugar in there, that's fine. Just try to keep the pieces as far apart as possible, and if they're clumping together, just kind of break them apart here. You don't need a tray that's this big. I just work in a restaurant, so I have a very large tray here, just a home-sized baking tray, and wire rack will be fine. So don't get rid of this extra sugar that you have at the end too. It has a lot of beautiful citrus flavors that are infused into it, so you can add it to baking or anything else that you want to have a little bit of a citrus kick. So our candied citrus is finished. It just needs to dry out for a few hours. I generally like to leave it though overnight and then store it in an airtight container. You can use this technique to candy other fruits too, such as ginger and pineapple, which are some of my favorites.